worst show was in Iowa City in 87 or something. And yeah, they hated us because the mic was shocking me, so I couldn't really sing. And then Lou was saying a bunch of, being mean to the crowd, saying bad things about Iowa or something. They really hated us. It was terrible. You can't really, if you're getting shocked, it's hard to get sympathy because people don't really care. They just want to see a show, and you're just, but I can't sing because I'm being shocked. But it's a bad situation. Come on!
It's so strange. Every day I sing it's so bad because I'm never happy after the show. I said I can give more than what I give, It's not bad. Maybe not the bad show, but I often, every day I say I can do better.
Easy.
Oh.
That German thing.
Oh yeah, Radio 1.
Radio 1, it's like top #1 radio station in Germany. We had to drive for about 18 hours to get to the site to play at a festival that was all like a cattle grid and there was no one there. And we were on at 11:30 in the morning, and you can't rock before 12 o'clock. And we played the first song, and Adele the singer's mic wasn't on for the full first song, so it was like instrumental live on radio.
And all these like kids that are there to obviously see the sort of Radio 1 bands of the day were just looking at us like, what's going on?
Yeah,
weren't they?
So terrible.
That was awful.
And the guy that looks after our gear at the time, our tech, got punched in the face by the stage manager.
I forgot about that.
He got gushed.
Nothing is nothing less than alien. I tell you, I won't give for it over. It came on to me. How do I get what I get from down on one knee?
As we've played and become more experienced, we've actually leaned into mistakes don't make things bad, they kind of fuel something else. So I mean, I'm trying to think like what would be a bad show, like when you rip your pants, that's kind of fun when you rip your pants. When you play a wrong note.
Or is it technical, maybe some electrical thing, but it had even seemed to be fun, We had some show where the power just died and we ended up doing an acoustic show. And
doing an acapella, not even, it wasn't even acoustic because we didn't have instruments. Yeah. We just sang acapella. We have this one spiritual that we do and the electricity went out, which seemed like a failure, but then it became one of the best things ever because we started singing, the audience started singing. Once the room became really feverish, the lights came back on. So it kind of, isn't that one of the best shows, So it's what's a bad show really? When no one shows up and knock on wood, that hasn't happened yet. I guess that would be the bad show. Yeah. When you're fucking rocking out to nobody.
Great rehearsal.
Yeah. Right. So even that would be a good show, right.
Well, we did get threatened to, they told us not to come back to Jackson, Tennessee, but that wasn't actually a bad show, it was actually a great show. And it wasn't the entire city, it was just a collective few, and that's Jackson, Tennessee in America.
Why was that issue?
But I wouldn't say that.
Where was that? Where was that?
I wouldn't, well, maybe people don't know. But I certainly would not call that a bad show, by all means.
It inspired us to want to do a tour called the Bible Belt Tour.
Exactly.
That's right, and the cool thing about shows like that is you get the story. And the story becomes, so much fun. So, it's great.
You promised to take me to the end of the 7th grade.
situation. I don't feel like there's a worse show, I hope. I mean, it's always, I try to have the attitude, it's always a privilege and an honor to play in front of play in front of two people. But I mean, a worse show for me, I could just say like the last time I played in New York a month ago, like I messed up all over the place, So that's not a very good feeling. But there's no such thing as a bad show.
Well, last night there was a woman texting while eating an ice cream cone in the dark theater, so the light of the cell phone just lit up her face. So the only thing I could see for the first half of the gig was her face eating an ice cream cone. I'm not sure if that's the best or the worst show I've ever played. But I did faint once on stage while screaming, but that, again, I'm not sure if that was the best or the worst. But mid-scream, I woke up on the floor like in a different time zone from everybody else in the room. And they just laughed because they thought it was a joke. I also played a gig once, this again, I don't know if this is best or worst, but I had a gig with my folk band in high school. I had a band called Popcorn Behavior. We had a gig, we were hired to play for a wedding proposal, which very luckily she said yes. So that could have gone either way as far as best or worst. But then when he went to pay me, because we had charged a couple little money, he paid me like drug deal style, like the handshake. And then she went in for the handshake right afterwards to thank me for like making her whole life so beautiful. And then I had to like awkwardly sneak the check into my other hand to be able to shake her hand. It was really embarrassing.
Probably Bonnaroo. Bonnaroo is this festival in America that's like, or in the United States, I should say. I'm sorry, I called it America. It just sucks. And we got screwed real bad. Like, we had to play at the same time as Jay-Z. So, obviously, we're a little less popular than Jay-Z, in the States anyway. And then the guy after us had this massive fucking rig that took up 3/4 of the stage, and we're a 15-piece band. We had 4 drummers that night, and it was sort of like there's no room to set up. And his lighting and video tech took forever. I'm not gonna mention who it was, but it just completely screwed us. We got no sound check, we went from having and they fucked us on the camping. I mean, they didn't give us enough passes or meal tickets. It was just pure shit. It's just a shit box.
I'm getting a flood of bad memories. And none of them seems not one stands out as being particularly worse than the other.
Yeah.
And what? I remember vomiting, being so sick I threw up. That might be one of the worst. The show, actually, the show itself was actually really good, but the vomiting was the bad part. So I don't know if that counts.
Tell a story about when the bass, you had to put the bass through the PA.
Oh, that might be.
That was a killer.
Yeah, it's this promoter. I was playing bass in a band, and the promoter kept saying that the bass amp was on its way, but for sound check, if I could just play DI. It was in a punk band, and so it needed to be so he had me play through the PA. It sounded horrible, and I kept asking when the amp's gonna get there, and he kept telling me it'd be there any minute. And then it didn't. And then of course the show comes, and the amp's not there. So we start playing, and I have to play through the PA direct. And then we start playing, and I ran at him, and he's standing by this pole, and I smashed the bass in the pole and started throwing it around and ripped frets out of it. And
frets
are sticking out, and I cut my hands all up.
Jamaica. In Jamaica. The worst show I see is somewhere in Jamaica that I can't remember. You know, that's when I'm through with that show, I was sick. You know, yeah, in Jamaica. Got it, parrot? Huh? So, whee! Well, friend, you know excitement start. The girl was out to the parrot. She said, pretty, what's wrong with you? The parrot shout out, you know it's true. I catch up in the house and smell the rat. Smiled by the word of the parrot. I hold it aside me out, telling the pretty answer. The parrot shout out, I said, hey, Danny.